Hello, we're going to kick our Google Forms skills up a notch today by learning how to use Google Forms to make a quiz for our students. We're also going to learn about response validation and how to utilize that with our Google Forms. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here to make a quiz for our students is I'm simply going to type my quiz questions into a Google form. So that's what you see here. I have different quiz questions that my students will take based off the content we've been learning in my class. In order to make this a quiz, I need to go to the upper right-hand corner and click on the Settings gear. And then I'm going to toggle over to the Quizzes tab in the Settings window and switch on Make This a Quiz. You have a couple different quiz options. The first one here is Locked Mode on Chromebooks. If my students are taking taking this quiz on school-managed Chromebooks, I would want to toggle this on. And what that will do is it will prevent students from searching or opening up other windows while they're taking the quiz. So they won't be able to search for answers while they're taking this quiz. It's kind of a cool feature. The last option here is Release Grade. I have two options of immediately releasing the grade after each submission or later after manual review. If you have a quiz with clear-cut, dry, right or wrong answers, I would immediately release the grade after each submission. However, if you have a quiz that has like an essay question or a longer answer, or a question that requires a longer answer, I would do later after a manual review, which is what I should do for this one because I have a question like that. But I'm just going to leave it at immediately after each submission. Go ahead and click Save. Okay. Now it's gone ahead and made this this form a quiz. If I click on the first question here, which simply asks their name, you can see that it's worth 10 points. And there's an answer key option. I don't need an answer key option for this, and I don't want this to be worth any amount of points for simply typing in their name. So instead of 10 points, I'm going to make it worth 0, and just simply type 0 on there and click Done. I'm going to go down to my first question here. What color is General Robert E. Lee's white horse? And I'm going to type on answer key and make sure that the answer is white. And I'm going to make it worth 10 points and go ahead and leave it at 10 points and click Done. Once you assign an answer to this question, you'll notice there's a green check mark right here that signifies what the correct answer is. Don't worry, your students don't see that. You only see that as the creator of the quiz. This next one is an essay question. So the answer key, I can't provide anything with an answer because I have to review that after the quiz is submitted. But I am going to increase the point value because I think it should be worth 25 points, being that it's an essay question. Go ahead and click Done. And then the next question is a checkbox which says check all that apply. So the answer key, and I've actually already done this, but we'll go and fix it. Teach the Youth of America is the right answer, and it's Friday, so we're going to survive the weekend. And this one's a 2-part answer, so I'm going to go ahead and make it worth 15 points. Actually, let's do 18 points, just a kind of a random number. And then go ahead and click Done. So students will have to answer both these two options in order for the answer to be completely correct. And then that last one here, let's go ahead and answer key. What month should they get Mr. Schwanke a birthday present? My birthday is in April. There we go. All right, and we're going to leave that one 10 points as well. So there, your quiz is done. I can go ahead and send this out to my students. They can respond to the quiz and submit it, and then it grades it for them, with the exception of this question right here because it's an essay question. So I would have to grade that, assign the appropriate point value to it, and then allow them to see what their grade is at the end. Another cool thing is this response section. Like as students start entering their responses, you'll see them start compiling here, both as a class and then as individual options. So you as a teacher can see how your whole class is doing on certain questions of the quiz, but then you can also dive down deeper into individual students' quizzes and see how they did on there as well. So that way you know what students you can work with if they need further instruction or further help. Notice too, you also have accepting responses. If this is toggled on, that means students can respond to this quiz. If that's toggled off, they won't be able to gain access to this quiz. So that might be a good thing to do after each individual class is over that you're giving this quiz to, is to toggle this off so they can't send it out to their friends and their friends take the quiz before they're in your class, so on and so forth. And you can customize your message right here as well. Okay. Now, one thing I want to kind of show you a little tip and trick with this is to password protect this quiz. So let's say that you have a specific password for period 1, period 2, period 3, so on and so forth. You can lock this quiz for that individual class, so that way they're not, like I said earlier, not sending it out to their friends and their friends taking the quiz and using their resources and things like that while they're taking the quiz. So let's go ahead and password protect this. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click add a section. I'm going to go ahead and take the title of the quiz, copy it and paste it for section 2, because section 2 is actually where my quiz will begin. For section 1, I'm going to give it a title of quiz password and say enter the password Mr. Schwanke gave you during class. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a question. And for this first question, I'm simply going to type in password. And notice what it does when it types in password. Google automatically knows that it should be a short answer and question, so it switches it to that type of question. But it also adds response validation. If for some reason response validation isn't added, you can also find it here under the 3 dots right here, response validation. And what this does is you, if you're going to create a password for your quiz, you can make sure that say, hey, my password is going to be a number and it has to be equal to, and then you can type in that password number, so 8675309, great song, I know. And there, the students have to type in this password exactly, otherwise they can't advance on into the second section of the quiz, or where the quiz actually begins. One thing I want to point out to you is here, is after section 1, continue to the next section, we're going to be specific and say go to section 2. So when students answer this question, they're going to go on to section 2. I need to make sure this is required as well. Now notice I have not entered a custom error text right now because I want to show you why that's important. Oh, and this one shouldn't be, there should be no point value to this either. So I'm going to make that down to 0, click done. And I did not enter a custom error text. And I'm going to show you why I should. So I forgot to turn back on that we're accepting responses. All right, let's try that one more time. Preview. And let's say the student types in the wrong password. If you don't have a custom error text in there, the custom error text that it automatically gives them is the password, which is not great to do because students now have your password and can move on. So what we need to do with that is we need to enter our own custom error text. So we're going to say wrong. Please see Mr. Schwanke for the password. Okay. Now, when students go in here to take the quiz and they enter the wrong password, it says wrong, please see Mr. Schwanke for the password, and it doesn't give them the password. So that's kind of a great thing to do. But however, if they enter the correct one, 8675309, click next, and now it takes them into the quiz, and they can answer the questions to the quiz and then submit it when they are finished. And depending if you have the release grade immediately, or they can see their grade right away, or if you have later after manual review, they will see their grade later on after you have reviewed the question you want to review. So that's how you make use Google Forms to make a quiz for your students and have it grade it for you. And it's also how you use response validation, or example how you use response validation, in this case to make a password for your quiz. I hope this is a great video. Please let us know if you have any questions. Have a great day.